Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a part of the What Month Is It challenge, which is hosted by Tammy from Happiness Created, and she always has a co-host and a couple guest hosts, so please go and check everybody out along with the playlist. I'll have it all in my description box. What September means to me is harvest. Harvesting corn, harvesting your fields, harvesting and harvesting and harvesting. You see the farmers out there, they're always harvesting. So for these crafts that I'm creating for you is all about fall and harvest. My name is Tammy. This is Llama's Creations DIY. Let's start crafting. For my first craft, I'm starting off with this piece of board I had in my stash. It's about 12 inches wide by 14 and a half. It's already pre-stained on both sides, so that was a good point. Good thing there. Taking just a white paint that I had in my stash, I'm just going to give it a messy coat. I forgot to record. I thought I was recording, but I guess I wasn't. I drew in some lines with some pencil and went over it with my finger to give it that shiplap look. After taping down my words that I printed off my computer, I'm going to slide under some carbon paper and trace over it with my pen, transferring all my words and that one little pumpkin image onto my board. You can use a Cricut. You can do this freehand if you're able to. You can scribble on the back of the paper and transfer it that way, whichever way is easiest for you. After that's done, I'm going to paint in my words with Home Decor Folk Art chalk paint in the color Rich Black. And here, what I'm showing you, this is in real time of how slow I go to make sure that I stay on my lines. You can go as slow as you have to. If you have to go slower than that, go slower than that. If you're able to go faster, go faster. But there's no rush to when you're painting. And I just continue all along, filling in all the letters. After that's done, I'm going to color in my pumpkin. Starting out with some orange, I'm going to fill it all in. And again, I'm just taking my time. I've sped up this version, but if you were to see real version, I go about as slow as I did when I was painting in my letters. After I'm done with all the orange, I take a little bit of brown and I highlight all the areas of where those lines would be in the pumpkin. And I just go over it very lightly. And if I went over it too far or too hard, then I would smudge it in with the paintbrush, and then I would also take some more orange paint and go over top of it just to lighten it up a bit if I thought it was a bit too dark. Then using a green paint pen, I'm going to trace over all of the vines and the leaves, and then I use green paint to paint the leaves in. After that's all done, I'm going to take my sanding block and just go over the entire thing just to help mute the letters a bit so it looks more like it's within the board than just brand new painted on, if that makes sense. Taking some more brown paint on a really big paintbrush, I'm going to dry brush some brown paint all around the edges and just a little bit in the middle, giving it a little more rustic feel, dirtying it up a bit. Flipping it over, we're going to add a hanger just with some jute rope. I tie a knot in either end, use my staple gun to staple it down. And when you're done that, after trimming off the extra ends, this beautiful sign is done. Happy harvest! I love that pumpkin. Next craft. I picked up this here board from my local Dollarama. It's a Wi-Fi password board where the little thing is a chalk sign. I'm going to take my scraper, pry off that little chalkboard, but I keep it because it's a nice little square and it wasn't that hard to get off. And then when I took it off, the paper came with it. So I just continue taking all that paper off. And I take off the little hanger as well. After that's all done, I'm going to paint the board with my Home Decor chalk paint in the color Oatmeal. Now, taking my letters again that I printed off from my computer, I'm going to tape it down, slide under the carbon paper, and trace over it with my pen, transferring my letters onto my board. I do that for the Bros Family Farm pumpkin patch, and it established in 2005. And then what I do with the pumpkin is doing the same technique. I trace over just the outline of the pumpkin, and then I pick it up, move it over, and I do it again 5 more times. So I have 5 pumpkins in a row. Some of them overlap and some of them don't. And I'm okay with that. After everything is traced on, I'm going to go over the words with my black paint marker. Draw in my lines for where it's established. And then I go over the stems of the pumpkin in brown. And then I outline the pumpkins with my orange paint marker. I don't color anything in, I just outline everything. Then taking my black paint marker again, I write in my family's name, including my own. I found these napkins at my local Dollarama. And what I'm going to do is, someone showed me this tip. You take 2 pieces of tape, stick one to either side, and watch how easy it is to pull the backing off. It's just like, oh. I was like, cool. That's so much easier than trying to do it with your fingers. And then this napkin here had like little dots all around the edge, about 2 inches in, all the way around. So I cut those off, and then I cut off a big enough piece that I could use on my board. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to lay the napkin on top, crease it with my finger, and cut it off. And I do the same thing for on the top. Just crease around the edge with my finger, and then I cut about just a scissor width above that crease. Using a nice light layer of Mod Podge, I smooth it down on the bottom, and then I lay the napkin on top. Smooth it down with my fingers the best as I can. And then I have this little card thing there. I'm going to use that to smooth it down some more. I do the same thing to the top. And then I put a layer of Mod Podge on top of both the pieces and let it dry. Actually, let it dry. While that's drying, I've got these square beads. I have 4 in these dark brown, 4 in the white, and 4 in these nice light brown. Those ones I'm going to keep that color. I'm going to paint 4 with this mixture of orange paint and 4 with my oatmeal home decor chalk paint. After the Mod Podge is dry, we're going to take our sander and just in a downward motion sand all the extra napkin off, giving yourself a nice smooth finished edge. And it's a fairly easy thing to do. It comes off really easily. Using the back of a paintbrush, I'm going to poke my hole back in. Then, taking some jute rope, I'm going to fold it together, string it through my hole, and then I'm going to pass it through the rope. I think that's called a larynx knot or something like that. Add some tape to the end of my rope, and then I'm going to string on my beads. I start with the white, do the light brown, and then the orange, and I continue until all my beads are on. I'm going to tie a knot as close as I can to the end of that bead. Go up about an inch or 2, tie another knot, and then trim off the extra. And there you have a hanger. Excuse me. Now, using some more jute rope, I'm going to wrap it around 3 times in where the napkin and the paint meet. Trim it off, tie it in the back. I do another one on the bottom where the 2 meet. And when you're done that, this sign is done as well. I love it. Bros Family Farm Pumpkin Patch. Last craft. Taking some beads, any size you want, and 3 Chanel stems or pipe cleaners, you're going to string on 7 or 8 beads onto each side, and you're going to do 3 of them. Doesn't matter the color, you can use whatever size you want. When you've got the 3 done, you're going to, oh, I'm not done stringing. There we go. You're going to layer them on top of each other, kind of like in a crisscross motion. It is a bit hard to hold on to, but you figure it out once in a while. Then you're going to take one of the 2, or one of the 3, and you're going to wrap it around both the ends, both sides of that one, and you're going to secure it all into place. You're going to bring it all up together into the top. Push down all your beads to the bottom. And then holding it in your hand, you're going to take another one of those pipe cleaners and wrap it around all of them to secure it all into place. Just like that. When you have all 3 done, I'm going to use that mixture of orange, vintage mustard, and this copper color paint. I'm going to paint about 1/2 inch with the copper color, and I'm just slopping it on there, getting it into all the grooves the best I can. Then I'm going to use the orange and do it in the middle, and you can go over top of the copper paint to mute the 2 together, whatever way you like. I'm going to do the yellow on top, and I do all 3 this way. Using this piece of board, which is 10 by 10. And then I have 4 garden stakes that I can get at my Dollarama store. They're about the thickness of a popsicle stick. I'm going to paint the board with sheepskin chalk paint. And then I have this wood tint in walnut. And at first I thought it was going to be black. But then I put it on and it's gorgeous. I love it. It brought out the grain in the wood. Absolutely gorgeous. I love this stuff. Now, taking those stained pieces, I'm going to lay it across the top using my pencil, mark where I need to cut it with my shears, using a bit of tacky glue and some hot glue, put it along the edge, and then I lay it down so only that part is sticking on the edge, sort of like that, so it's over on the bit. I do the same to the bottom, and then on the sides I put them on completely in between the 2, just like so. I laid my words down that I printed off my computer, and again tape them down, slide in some carbon paper, and trace over it with my pen. So my my words can be transferred onto my board. Like I said before, you can do it with a Cricut, you could do it freehand, whichever way is comfortable for you. Then, taking my Folk Art Home Decor Rich Black chalk paint, I'm going to paint in all my words, letters, and numbers. And again, just take your time. Turning it over, taking some jute rope, I'm going to tie a couple knots on it, add some hot glue, put the knot into it, do the same thing on the other side. And because this is super light, for this one, all I do is I add some more hot glue on top, and then I put a piece of, this is sticky ribbon, but you can use any kind of ribbon or tape or whatever, and I put it over top to hold it into place. And this will do just fine. Taking our corn, I'm going to snip off the extra ends, and then using some tacky glue, come on, there we go, and some hot glue, I'm going to glue the 3 onto the top. Two on an angle, and then the third one goes on top facing down. Taking some more jute rope, I'm going to wrap it around my 4 fingers 1,000 times, felt like. Take another piece, feed it through, tie it in a couple knots. And then taking my scissors, I cut open those loops. So I have kind of like a shaggy bow. Trim off any ends. And we're going to hot glue it on top of the corn. Then I have this nice lace ribbon. I cut out 4 pieces. I'm going to hot glue them, 1 to each side and 2 in the middle in between the corns. Yes, I'm using a knife. It's what I had near. Trim off any ends that I need. And then I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. But I wrapped the top where you could still see the pipe cleaners with some more jute rope just to hide it a bit. Ah! Sorry, a bird just came flying at me. Taking some wood tint, I'm gonna touch up any of the corners I need to. And then I'm also going to use that same wood tint and dry brush over top of the board, just to give it a nice distressing. And when you're done that, this sign is done too. I love those little corns. Aren't they cute? So cute. I love this sign. I really hope you guys enjoyed those crafts. Weren't those corns the cutest? Cutest little tiny corns. But just think, you can make those bigger and you can make them any color you want. You can make them yellow. You can make them, I kind of like the tricolor version. They were pretty. I love them. They're so cute. If you're new to my channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, and don't forget that little bell. If you're a returning subscriber, hey, welcome back. Always so happy to see you. I would like to thank the ladies for hosting this challenge. I enjoyed it very, very much. Hope everybody has a wonderful day, and we'll see you again next time. Bye! This is the bird that dive bombed my head. Little tiny brown bird came flying at me like a bat out of hell. And there he goes. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This month, I like to